And I'm Justin.
And that's Stanley Bear. And today is our part 2 in our series about cruising in and out of Sydney. So last week we spoke about White Bay and that there's not a great deal of stuff to do around White Bay, but today we're going to talk about the overseas passenger terminal. Now I think this is probably the one you're thinking of when you think about cruising in and out of Sydney. It's the one opposite the Sydney Opera House with the Harbour Bridge right beside it. The Rocks is right there.
Beautiful.
Really nice, yeah. We love the overseas passenger terminal. We love cruising in and out of there. So, done it several times. So we've got some tips and some hints for you there as well. So the first one is that there are a plethora of cafes, bars, shops, all really close by. Our big tip around bars and shops is probably, and restaurants in particular, is opposite the overseas passenger terminal when you're in Circular Quay. So there's a whole heap of restaurants along as you walk from where the ferries are down to the Opera House. Really great restaurants there. There's a Great Italian, which is the first one as you walk through there. That one's really good. And there's one called Whale Bridge, which is just before you hit the Opera House. Great.
I love it.
If you're going for a drink before you jump on the ship, absolutely the Opera House bar or the House bar. Fantastic. There's also the House Canteen.
Yeah.
Both of those are located under the Opera House.
Live music.
Just fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. The view is phenomenal. Like, you'll be able to get great shots of the ship from there. You'll have the Sydney Harbour Bridge right there. Really nice at night. We often suggest to fly in the night before you jump on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
And that's usually our go-to place. So if we're flying in to get on a cruise, we'll be at the Opera House bar the night before. It's just phenomenal. Absolutely love it. If you're sailing on one of the cruise lines that allows you to take a bottle of wine, you can pick up that bottle of wine from... there's a bottle shop under the train station.
Yeah.
At Circular Quay.
There's a chemist.
Yep, there's a chemist around the back there as well.
Convenience store.
Yeah, there's a great little sweet shop there as well. One of those ones where you fill the bag and they weigh it.
KFC, Hungry Jack's.
Yep, all really close by there as well. So lots of stuff that you might need while you're there, right?
Last minute stuff too.
Exactly, yeah. And because we fly in, because we're in Townsville, Brisbane or Sydney ports are a flight away for us. We don't want to be taking everything with us all the time, right? So if we're sailing on Princess, we don't want to have to take wine with us. We'll pick it up before we get on the ship. So the next one we've got is baggage storage. So if you're getting off the ship or you fly in and you've got a few hours to kill before you actually get onto the ship, there's a baggage storage place called Bounce Luggage, which is under the train station as well. So it's at the 24-hour cafe that you can just...
I can never remember the name.
Yeah, City Talk. I always say City Talk.
City Lane?
It's something like that. City Chat, City Talk, something like that. But easy to find. They've got a sign out the front that says that they do luggage storage. I think we pay about $8 per bag for 24 hours, which to me is worth me not having to drag a suitcase around Sydney if I've got a few hours to kill before I either get on the ship or go to the airport. So that's a really big one. The food at that cafe is really good as well, and quite reasonably priced. The next one we've got is easy access to the Opera House, the Rocks and the Bridge. And like, if you're watching from overseas, and we've got viewers from around the world, these are the big things you're picturing when you're thinking about Sydney. And when you're sailing from the international passenger terminal, you're in the middle of all of that.
Yeah.
Right? So you're probably a 10-15 minute walk to get into the heart of the city. But right there, where the cruise ship pulls up, or docks, or whatever the heck they call it, is the Opera House, is the Harbour Bridge. So all of that is literally right there.
Yeah.
So, if you're flying in and you've got a few hours to kill, you will be able to kill those hours right there in Circular Quay. It is just absolutely stunning. Also, explore the Rocks. So the Rocks is a little community. It's one of the oldest suburbs in Sydney. And they do markets on the weekends. There's some great bars, some really good restaurants all in there as well.
Just be aware, though, if you do have mobility issues, there is a lot of uneven ground and like cobbled, what do they call it?
Yeah, cobbled roads.
Yeah, because it's vintage.
Yeah.
Vintagey roads.
It is, and there's a lot of hills.
A lot of hills.
So,
Just be mindful, especially if you're dragging suitcases all the way around. There's a lot of uneven ground.
There is, and that's a really good point. I think if you've got mobility issues, that's something to be mindful of.
Take your time. Just watch your step.
Yeah. Another thing with the rocks and the Harbour Bridge in particular is that you can walk across it for free. You can walk across the footpath. They don't charge you for that. What you charge for is to walk above the bridge.
Yeah.
So on the structure of the bridge. But to walk across the bridge is free, and it's quite
lovely.
easy to access.
Get some good photos.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely. The next one is about visiting the Opera House. So you can actually do tours of the Opera House. And again, if you've got some time, before you get on the ship or while you're waiting to go to the airport, the Sydney Opera House is iconic. So what a great way to spend a couple of hours or, spend some time when you're in Circular Quay. Go and do a tour of the Opera House. Can't recommend it enough. Absolutely love that place. Another great thing to do for the overseas passenger terminal, when you walk past where you check in and bag drop and all of that sort of stuff, there's actually a viewing platform up the top. So you can go up the escalator right before the check-in area. So before you go to bag drop, there's an escalator that goes up or a lift right there. You can go up there and you can actually walk all the way to the end, and there's a circular viewing platform. Yeah. So from there you can try and work out where's our cabin. If you've looked at the deck plans, and if you're not sure how to read deck plans, we've got a video on that on the channel as well. But you can actually stand there and try and work out where your cabin is. You're that close to it, right? So you can actually see all that. So that's a really good thing to be able to do as well. But from the opposite side, so around towards the Opera House, as I said before, you can actually take some great photos of your ship, all of that sort of stuff as well. There's actually hotels there. We stayed in one of the hotels there and watched the ship come in the morning. It was just fantastic. Next one is that Circular Quay is actually a transport interchange. So you can travel so many places from Circular Quay. So not only is Circular Quay where the cruise terminal is, it's also the ferry interchange. So there's, I think, 5 or 6 ferry wharfs there, which will take you to places all over Sydney. So that's a great place that you can start to explore the city from there. There's also the light rail or the trams, which are right outside. Yeah. You walk under the train station, and they're right there, and they'll take you into the city. You can go to the Queen Victoria building or QVB. There's a whole heap of places you can go from there. So have a look at Sydney Light Rail, give that a search on Google, and you'll find that there as well. But there's also the train station. So, when you get off the ship, and I'll insert a photo or a video here to show you how actually close that train station is, right? And you can get around really easy by train there as well. You can walk to the Botanic Gardens. So if you walk from the cruise ship all the way around past the ferries to the Opera House, instead of going to the Opera House, cut through the courtyard there, the forecourt, and that'll take you to the Botanic Gardens, which is a really lovely spot. Really underrated, I think. And then if you're walking around Circular Quay, here's a bonus tip for you. There's a writer's walk. So you'll see these little manholes. They look like little manholes or big discs on the ground. And they're dedicated to writers, Australian writers of some note. So, that's worth having a look at as well. There's also little indicators to show where the foreshore has been over time while they've upgraded and made changes there as well. The last thing is getting to and from Circular Quay. It's actually really, really simple. Obviously, you could catch an Uber, you could catch a taxi if you're local. You'll know how to get there. But if you're flying in, for me, one of the easiest ways to get to Circular Quay is just get the train. Yeah, it literally drops you off right by the ship. As your train pulls up, you will see your ship. It's that simple,
and
right?
It's not that scary.
It's really not. It's so simple. You don't have to change trains. If you're going from the airport, you're already on the right train line to get you to Circular Quay. And I think it's about 20, 25 minutes. That's from memory. I might be a little off, but I'm pretty sure it's 20-25 minutes. And there's signs at the airport to show you how, and it's both the domestic and the international, how to get to the trains. And, there's signage once you get to the train to say which one's going into the city and which one's going out of the city, or which one's going to Circular Quay. So, you can jump on with your luggage, that's fine, and that'll take you all the way to Circular Quay. And that's, to me, the easiest way to get from the airport. And as I say, we always fly when we go on a cruise these days, being in Townsville. So, yeah, that's our advice for the overseas passenger terminal in Sydney. So if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It is free. It does help us to grow the channel. It tells the algorithm that this is some content that's actually worth showing to other people there as well. If you've got any questions about the overseas passenger terminal, pop them into the comments below and we'll try and get back to you on that as well. But yeah, until next time, we'll talk to you then.
Bye.